Hello and welcome to the Aspire presentation. Normally we would invite you to Sixth Form to meet with members of staff and to discuss this in the Sixth Form. However, we cannot do that this year due to COVID. So we hope that this goes some way to introduce you to our programme for both students and for parents, to let you know how we support our students at Bohunt Sixth who aspire to applying to the University of Oxford or the University of Cambridge, collectively known as Oxbridge. We're going to talk through some of the key information. I'll also talk to you about the ways in which specifically we'll support students and the resources that they can also use to drive the application process independently, because that's a key part of the preparation for such competitive courses at university. Let's start by looking at some of the myths perhaps associated with applications for Oxbridge. Oxbridge is not just for those amongst us who are genius or genii. Oxford wants highly intelligent and interested individuals, students who are interested in their subjects that they would like to pursue studying. That means intellectual curiosity, agile and insightful critical thinkers. You can still find elements of your subject challenging and apply. That's part of the process of developing your ability to think critically, to be resilient and overcome any difficulties or challenges. You mustn't be put off by thinking that some elements of your subject are still difficult for you. It's also a myth that you need to have achieved all grade 9s at GCSE. Oxbridge do expect you to have the highest grades of 9s, 8s and 7s, but there is not a fixed number. Obviously, the better your GCSEs are, the more your application will stand out, but you mustn't be put off from applying if there's a GCSE grade you have that's perhaps not as high as you had hoped or would have liked. It must not deter you. It's also a myth that Oxbridge is only for the wealthiest people in society. They are determined to counter this stereotype. There is a rising proportion of state school students that attend Oxbridge. In 2020, the number of state school students attending Oxford was 68%. They're very keen to encourage applicants from diverse ethnic groups, from all income groups, and they have specific programmes linked to their widening participation in order to encourage people to apply who may not have thought Oxbridge was for them. It's also a myth that all students do is work. There are a huge number of societies or clubs that people can join to supplement their academic courses. There are sports societies and clubs, drama, music, journalism, a huge variety, something for everybody, and students are encouraged to be part of these societies so that it is not just about the academic study whilst they're at university. You do not need huge amounts of money behind you when you apply for Oxbridge. You will have to pay tuition fees and living expenses. All university courses have these fees attached to them. But because you are able to apply for a student loan, you are able to pay your tuition fees back once you finish your degree and are earning above a certain threshold. There are also a range of bursaries and scholarships available from both Oxford and Cambridge. Individual colleges will run their own programmes. They're determined to help students who come from low-income households. And again, if you search for information on widening participation, you'll find specifics to colleges or each of the universities. One thing we must be mindful of is that graduates from Oxbridge and the other top Russell Group universities generally are able to get higher salaries as graduates. So it can be that we expend the money on going to Oxbridge, but we know that the salary that you can get in a graduate position will help compensate for that and will enable you to pay it back at a later date. So why make an application to Oxford or Cambridge University? You are guaranteed the intellectual stimulation of one of the most prestigious universities in the world. They focus on small groups, often called supervisions, so the tuition that you get can be very personalised, obviously from experts in their field. You are likely to meet students who come from across the globe due to its prestige and its reputation. There is a college system at both universities, so whilst you might be part of a very large institution, essentially the smaller colleges can make it feel less intimidating and less overwhelming. Obviously, due to the investment in both institutions, there are world-class facilities that accompany the tuition that you get. So our Aspire programme to support students to make this transition from sixth form to Oxford or Cambridge, or indeed other top Russell Group universities. We would like to help support you in demonstrating or evidencing your intelligence, but also your ability to think laterally, to think critically, to demonstrate a genuine love of learning, that you're hardworking and resilient, that you don't give up when something is challenging, that you are able to articulate your ideas and your enthusiasm and your intelligence, that you are able to work independently, and that you are driven in your ambition to apply to one of the most competitive courses in the country. So what are the universities looking for? Your ability, but also your potential. So it's not just about your predicted grades and your past academic record. They want you to demonstrate your potential for studying at either Oxford or Cambridge. Can you explore and discuss ideas and opinions? Can you develop a line of argument? Can you demonstrate intellectual flexibility, engage with new or even challenging ideas? Are you motivated for the chosen course, and how do you demonstrate that? Well, for example, showing enthusiasm and wide reading has been done. That shows your potential and your ability to go beyond the curriculum of your A-levels. You can do this by reading articles and books, perhaps recommended to you by your academic mentor or your subject teachers. You can do this by entering competitions, by taking part in some of the initiatives run by either Oxford or Cambridge. Commitment and self-discipline are key. You must be self-motivated. You must be able to drive your application process. You can do this by demonstrating time management, showing you're able to balance commitments outside of your academic studies. So our Aspire programme at sixth form then, we have begun in the autumn term. We would ask students to apply, writing a letter, like a personal statement almost, about why they feel they are suitable for the Aspire programme. They will meet with me, and they will also meet with academic mentors. And these are members of staff who have been appointed to support students in their intellectual development for this application process. We are also introducing student academic mentors, and these are ex-Bohunt students who are currently studying at both Oxford and Cambridge, who are going to support our students doing some work via Zoom and Skype possibly, but also some face-to-face. They will support students because they have recently experienced the process. We'll encourage students to take part in enrichment activities, perhaps applying for summer schools, taking part in competitions, visiting if it is possible, and if not, making sure that we are actively involved in the virtual opportunities the universities are offering. In the summer term, we'll write personal statements. We will start slightly earlier because the deadline for application is the middle of October in 2021. I will encourage them to be reading and to preparing. They will meet with me regularly and with their academic mentors, both teachers and students. More enrichment activities will be encouraged. We'll have some practice interviews for students. They will be encouraged to do admissions test practices, and also their references will be written by their subject teachers. This next slide, which students will have access to the whole of this presentation, take them to specific pages in either University of Oxford or the University of Cambridge via their websites. We've divided it into reading and preparation, summer schools and online experiences, including podcasts and lectures. We're actually benefiting in some cases from COVID because the universities are making more and more available virtually, and because there is not the restriction on numbers possibly that there would be in face-to-face meetings, it's easier for students to access a lot of support from both universities in this way. In the autumn term of 2021, we will be submitting their applications. They will be sitting any admissions tests that are required. They will also be given advice and guidance on how best to prepare using our academic teacher mentors and our student mentors. In November, they will take these tests, the BMAT for example, at the start of the month, and then the interviews will take place in December. By January of 2022, there will have been decisions made by universities, slightly different timeline, and of course this is subject to change, but this is what we expect based on previous experience. And then in August, of course, when exam results are released, we will have confirmation of whether the conditional offers given to students will have been met. And then in the autumn of 2020, students will begin their courses at either Oxford or Cambridge. So if after listening to this you think you would definitely like to be part of the Aspire programme, that you are aiming to apply to the most competitive courses at these universities, then this is what we would like you to do. The first thing is to write a letter of application. It can be in the form of a personal statement. Really, the format is up to you. What we would like you to put in this letter of application or this personal statement is for you to talk about your achievements to date, both academic and extracurricular. Tell me about your academic interests. For example, if you're doing EPQ, what is your topic? Why did you choose it? What have you learned so far? I'd like to know what you love most about your subjects, and it doesn't have to be just about one subject that you might like to pursue at university. Tell me about all your subjects. What is it about your subjects that you can talk about to demonstrate this idea of intellectual curiosity and a love of learning? What ambitions do you have? What would you like to study at university? And again, this doesn't need to be fixed. It can be perhaps more general at this moment in time. Think about what you maybe read and how it's challenged or changed your thinking. What impact has it had on you? And ultimately, what are your aspirations for the future? I'd like you to deliver this by hand, not send it via email. I'd like it to be printed out and delivered by hand, care of the Sixth Form reception by Friday the 13th of November. I appreciate that's quite a quick turnaround, but you're on a programme of academic excellence, so I would imagine that everybody applying should be able to meet this deadline. All students who are applying will be given this booklet. You can see here that it goes on for several pages, and that it gives a great deal of information about the Aspire programme, some of which I've covered today, but there is a lot more depth than I've been able to go to. All of the pages have hyperlinks for further information specifically from Oxford University or Cambridge University. Those will be printed and they will be available to the students who are part of the Aspire programme. We will also use Google Classroom and have a specific space online for students where they will get all of the information that is discussed, for example, the presentation, the booklet, information from universities that is often sent to me, so that they have one place to access all the information during the Aspire programme. It will also be used for setting assignments and making announcements about meetings or tutorials, or information about working alongside our academic mentors, both teacher and student academic mentors. Most importantly about the Aspire programme is it's about enjoying the journey of the application process, giving yourself the opportunity to demonstrate your intellectual curiosity, to demonstrate your ability to read and to think critically. It should be an enjoyable process. It should be one that opens up your eyes to what university might be like and why it is something that is the right thing to do for you. If at any point you feel that there are questions you have or that you are unsure about something, you have plenty of people who are supporting you on the programme and who you can come to for support and guidance. We are really looking forward to getting the applications in from students. And as I've said before, handwrite those. Sorry, not handwrite them. hand those in by hand to sixth form reception. They can be handwritten if you'd like to. We are going to read those and we'll chat to students and we'll send out a letter to confirm their place on the Aspire programme. If this evening's presentation has raised any questions, please feel free to get in touch. You can email me at lhunter@bohunt.hants.sch.uk, or if you would like to phone and leave a message, I can give you a call. Students, you know where my desk is. Pop in to see me at some point. Thank you so much for your attention, and I look forward to meeting you in the future.